Simon Reynolds, Retromania, Pop Culture's Addiction to Its Own Past. In Retromania, Pop Culture's Addiction to Its Own Past, author Simon Reynolds explores the idea that musical innovation has stalled since the turn of the millennium. In contrast to the experimental and groundbreaking styles of the 60s through 90s, the author argues that today's musicians struggle to create new and exciting genres, often relying on and remixing past sounds. From folk rock to electronic dance music, Reynolds delves into the birth and growth of various genres, questioning whether nostalgia and a yearning for authenticity have stifled progress in the world of music.
The stagnation of experimental music in the new millennium. The music industry has hit a wall in the new millennium, and the quality of experimental music has been on the decline. The problem lies in the fact that modern experimental music is failing to innovate and is instead stuck in the past. This is in contrast to the 1990s, where the techno and rave movements brought many surprises and innovations to the industry. The lack of innovation can be seen in mainstream music, where artists try to appear groundbreaking, but are actually just recycling ideas from the past. Even innovative-looking bands like the Black Eyed Peas are not as innovative as they seem, as they have borrowed heavily from past artists. The stagnation of experimental music is evident through the lack of new ideas emerging in music magazines and websites. The evolution of pop music. From Beatles to dubstep, a journey through pop music evolution. Since the 1960s, popular music has undergone staggering transformations that revolutionized the industry and paved the way for numerous genres. Though the decade is mostly associated with British beat groups like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, it also featured the rise of psychedelic, folk rock, soul, and ska music. The following decades witnessed the emergence of glam rock, heavy metal, disco, punk, reggae, rap, house music, goth, and synth pop, among others. However, the 2000s hit a slump in terms of innovation and originality, with most new music being just a rehash of pre-existing styles. Exceptions such as grime and dubstep managed to build on older genres, creating new sounds and earning some commercial success. Nevertheless, they failed to gain widespread public appeal, and the industry seemed to have plateaued. The evolution of pop music highlights the critical role played by innovative shifts in history and the constant quest for fresh ideas to define a constantly evolving industry. The lasting influence of the 60s on modern music. The 1960s continues to have a significant impact on modern music, from new Americana to freak folk movements. Fleet Foxes is one of the bands most representative of this trend. The reason why the 60s continues to inspire to this day is because it symbolizes a golden age when people believed in something. Sandy Tom's "I Wish I Was a Punk Rocker" sums up the nostalgia felt by a generation of young people who feel rudderless and without a cause. The music industry's lack of innovation. The popularity of music from previous decades among young artists is resulting in a lack of new musical movements. Unlike past generations, who introduced entirely new musical movements by rebelling against the music of their parents, today's musicians are recycling and remixing old styles. Lady Gaga's hit song, "Fashion," sounds strikingly similar to David Bowie's 1983 song, "Let's Dance," and the title is even taken from another Bowie track. While it's normal for artists to draw inspiration from the past, the 2000s have seen a lack of innovation, as musicians are content to recycle old styles rather than creating something new. This stands in stark contrast to the 1980s, when hip-hop emerged as a whole new form of music that drew on elements from the past but also moved beyond them. Music and technology. This book's summary explores the relationship between music and technology and how they have become increasingly intertwined in the 21st century. The focus is on the innovations in music that have been primarily driven by technology rather than through musical creativity. The article highlights the shift in the music industry from innovations in music styles to innovations in accessibility and the impact of technology on musicians. It provides an example of a musician from Los Angeles who uses technology to create unusual musical quilts by merging influences from hip-hop, punk, psychedelic music, trance, and rave music. The result is a type of music that defies classification, and critics have coined a term for it: superhybrids. This book's summary challenges our traditional idea of musical creativity and suggests that in today's world, technology plays a vital role in shaping music and sparking new ideas. The evolution of music production. Today's musicians spend more time manipulating existing music than creating new work, marking a shift from music production to post-production. DJs are the epitome of post-production artists, taking previously produced music and cleverly reassembling it without generating anything novel. This era of post-production reflects the changes in Western economies. Great eras in music production coincided with industrial production, like Motown during the automobile boom in Detroit. The overwhelming shift to post-production represents the white-collar workforce and their interests. The focus of modern pop music embodies the perfect reflection of our post-industrial world.
As we reflect on the evolution of pop culture and music, Retromania presents a thought-provoking perspective on the current state of stagnation in musical innovation. Although we have seen an increase in the use of technology to create and distribute music, artists have become more focused on borrowing from earlier sounds and styles. From the influence of past decades to the rise of DJs and the post-production era, Simon Reynolds leaves us to ponder if nostalgia and the influence of a seemingly golden age of music have in fact hindered the growth of truly groundbreaking musical styles and ideas for the new generations.